Hello, Exiles. This is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and welcome to another Path of Exile video. In today's video, I'm going to go over the expedition content. I'm going to give you a nice little guide. I'm going to talk about all of the vendors. I'm going to talk about the expedition mechanic and maps, and lastly, I'm going to talk about logbooks and how to utilize them. I'm going to give some tips and insight that I've gained from playing this mechanic, and hopefully be able to help you make a lot of currency through it. So there are 4 different vendors that come along with the expedition. There's Gwennon the Gambler, and she uses the Broken Circle artifacts, and there are 4 different tiers and then a reroll currency for each of the artifacts for every member. We have Rog the Dealer, and he uses the Order artifacts. Then we have Tujin the Haggler. He uses the Black Scythe artifacts. And lastly, we have Danig Warrior Skald, who uses the Sun artifacts. So we have all those. There's a lot of things to keep in mind with these. First of all, and most importantly, I would say, it's that the vendors actually scale with item levels. So as you can see, currently I have item level 82, 83 things in here. And if I reroll,
What else do I have?
get some like 84s, I think even 85s, and I'm currently level 91. So 85 is actually the highest I've seen. It's possible that you can get 86, but I haven't yet seen 86. And 86 is important for things like +3 minion gems for helmets or 35% move speed. So it is relevant, but you want to save for the most part, you want to save until your reroll currency until you're at least in your mid 80s. You don't want to spend it early on. And so, yeah, as far as like the gambling, you can just purchase that and you'll get like a magic. It seems like you get uniques fairly often, which is really nice. And you can get things like influenced items as well. You'll notice that some of the things that use the same currency, let's see if I can find a good example, like these use 72 instead of 32 of the lesser Broken Circle artifact. So that means they have a higher chance to be a higher rarity and to be better. So if you see those, you can buy them. You can still get really good stuff from the lower ones as well, but you're more likely to get rares and uniques if you pay more currency. So that's one thing you'll notice. One of the ways you can utilize this, besides saving until you're in your mid 80s to actually use your reroll currencies, is you can actually outlog onto another character here. A lot of people have talked about this. You can have a level 2 character here, and you can go to the gambling vendor over in Lion Eyes Watch, and you can use your currency because it uses the stash is shared across all of your characters, but the actual it re-rolls for each additional character. They have their own vendors. So if I go over here to Gwennon and go to gamble, you'll see that I have lower item level stuff here. It is item level 6 and not item level 2, so it is a little higher item level. So unfortunately this means like it's a little harder to get wands, but you know, these wool shoes here, we might get Wanderlust, so we would go do a couple of them and we would attempt to get the Wanderlust. Okay, so there you go. I got 1,000 ribbons. You can actually get Tabula Rasa this way, but yeah, you can get some unique items early on, as I just showed you. I'm glad that came up. So I have that going. Same thing with like this. I could get like a Calm's ring potentially. So it's a nice way to get items for new characters. Like I can throw these. I actually have Wanderlust. Oh, I actually got a Wanderlust. So there you go. So just in 5 gambles there, actually in my first 4 gambles, I got a Wanderlust and 1,000 ribbons. So that's pretty lucky. You can get a lot of other stuff that way. Like maybe I try to get like the crude bow and try to get my +1 to bows, that kind of thing, or wands. You can try to get a life sprig, something along those lines. But That is one important thing, and probably the most important thing, is to keep in mind that, and you can just keep making level 2 characters and it'll refresh the vendor every time. A lot of people use this. They might have nerfed it and it might not have been, but you just get the base type for whatever item you want. This is good for solo self-found, because if you have, like, say, a higher level solo self-found character and you farmed up a bunch of the gambling currency, you can go for your second character, say you're playing solo self-found hardcore, or if you just want to start a new character on solo self-found, and you haven't been able to farm a tabula or a wanderlust or anything like that, you just create a couple of characters, keep going to the gambler until you have, like, you can get like a gold rim, you can get wanderlust, you can get tabula, 1,000 ribbons, life sprig, any like low level unique items. So very, very good in that regard. So got that going for us. Let's see. I think so. Once you have that going, I'll go over what they all do. The gambler allows you to gamble, as I just showed. Rog the dealer is very interesting. I only have 3 rerolls on this, but you get a base type you want. Say, like, okay, this is only, well, I guess 83 is good enough. So say I wanted to try to get an ES item. I'd get this Vol Regalia. And, oh, right away, random influence type. And I have plenty, so I can now have an influenced, so now I have, I think that's Shaper. And you can upgrade 3 of the modifiers by 1 tier. I'm going to skip this because none of these are that good, except for, I guess, the hybrid. Actually, we can potentially get, okay, so it's good to pay attention to things like this. So we only have 1 prefix, and it's a tier 2 hybrid life energy shield. That's actually pretty good. If I hit the upgrade on that, which I did, now I can re-roll the suffixes. I'm keeping the prefix because the prefix is the only thing I really want to keep. Re-roll the suffixes. Try to get, I got increased dexterity, which is kind of cool, and a very low fill all empty modifier spots. So this is going to give me 2 prefixes. So if I get very lucky, okay, so there I got, unfortunately, percent increased max life, but also energy shield. And I would probably, and yeah, there's lots of things. Reroll the sockets. I could get a 6 socket on this. Reforge the sockets. Yeah, I could do this a few times. Remove all prefixes. I would just take this at this point. So now I could use the remove life on the vendor. I got a tier 2 energy shield and a tier 1 hybrid energy shield. So I can get like a decent energy shield setup. And I might have to use remove life from harvest twice to get rid of the life regen roll as well. The dex is actually pretty good. The chaos resist is very low, so I could do like add remove. But you can use these in combination. So I have like a perfectly craftable item here that I got from that. That I can mess around with in harvest. I'll just throw that in my dump tab. And yeah, you can do that for a lot of different things. Like you know, just look for a base type you want to do. Opal one's not a great example. Rings are kind of fun. Yeah, let's do a ring. So reroll the prefixes. We have a tier 1 dexterity, which is a suffix. We want to keep that potentially, but we reroll the prefixes. We get bad ones, unfortunately. And we can skip this if we don't want. Like, this will give us 2 prefixes. Maybe it'll give us life. No, it gave us bad ones. We don't want to remove the suffixes. Yeah, and this is kind of scuffed. I'm not going to spend any more currency on it. It had potential, but sometimes you have to learn when to abandon and when you have like a likelihood to get good stuff out of it. And lastly, for the haggler, here I don't actually have any reroll currency, but I bought a lot of this. Unfortunately, and I'll show you how to get more reroll currency. I don't have enough to get this logbook, which is unfortunate because item level 82 logbooks are worth a lot of currency. But for my video, I'm gonna reroll just to show this. Goodbye logbook. I'm probably throwing away like 50-60 chaos here, but there. Okay, so we got a scrap metal. You can buy the reroll currencies from the what's his name, Danig here. So now I can just buy up these reroll currencies. I probably shouldn't even rebuy the Astragali because they're very common, I find. So now I would just go in here and I didn't get one for that, but I got one for Rog. So, or I got two of them for Rog. So now I have 5 of these, which can give me more potential to get base types that I want. And I have 13 of these. So it's the same kind of thing too. Like, oh, this is Zodiac leather. Hey, look, I got a High Resire. Wow, what a video. Look at my luck, streamer RNG. And I'm not really a streamer, but yeah, you can go for that kind of that kind of thing. Siege Axe, maybe I get a Soul Taker, or maybe I get influenced. So there you go. And look at that fire damage, attack speed, and fire damage per strength. This is actually really crazy for an elemental, maybe like a Molten Strike. Holy, well, I wasn't expecting that. So there you go. That's the kind of stuff you can probably not necessarily expect to get. But I already have a High Resire that I'm trying to 6-link right now, but got another one. Got this really, really crazy, like tier 2 fire damage, tier 3 lightning damage, and then fire damage per 10 strength. That's so, and then attack speed as well. That's so good. Boy, and accuracy, tier 1 accuracy. What a crazy weapon. Wow. All right. So now that we've done that, I'm going to toss in a map real quick. And I'm going to take us to the, I'm just going to sell that. I can't salvage it. Toss in like, I'll just do a flooded mine, I guess. Okay.
Finally. Come on.
So what you want to do here is for the actual maps, you want to look for like usually something particularly powerful, like a fractured item. You can get a decent amount of the artifacts through this, like there's like stacked deck here, and you look at these in yellow, you'll see immunities. I can't run immune to physical at all, and this one has an influence type as well. Pack size, additional. Okay, so we have a fractured and an influenced. I actually don't have a super strong, and then currency. So we have a lot of good ones here actually. Runic monsters and runic monsters as well. This doesn't quite reach, so you kind of have to make a chain. So what I'm going to try to do is put this one with influence near the wall while it also hits this, and that might, oh, it doesn't even put it close enough. All right, well, we're going to skip the fractured one for now then. We're going to go for one of the other good ones, and sometimes you want to try to see and try to fit in as many monsters as possible. Currency items, and we're going to go up here and yeah, I guess stack decks for the last one. So unfortunately wasn't able to get like a great chain, but I wouldn't worry too much about the map ones, because honestly you get some okay loot from that. Like you're gonna see I'm gonna get a lot of influenced items here. You get okay loot, but it's not, you know, it's not anything compared to the logbooks. The main reason you want to be farming these is to look for the ones that give you the logbooks, and then to also try to get artifacts. Got a little stunned there. There are dangerous mods on some of the modifiers you can get. There you go. So I got a couple of influenced items. The chests usually don't have great stuff in them, but they do have the artifacts, which you of course need. There's Astragali. They'll have the reroll currency sometimes too. So yeah, not the most fantastic. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this away. This is fine. I'll get more maps later. No big deal. Want to keep the video chugging along. But now we get to the good part. Logbooks. Logbooks are pretty rare. They're very expensive. And, oh, Bow's additional arrow. It's not very good other than that. Physical damage is extra random element, and elemental, maybe like an elemental hit. Get some attack speed. Maybe that's an elemental hit bow. I don't know. It's early on in the league. Sometimes scuff stuff is actually valuable. So any extra arrow bow. But yeah, getting influenced items is pretty crazy. Getting fractured items is pretty crazy. So there is some good stuff you can get in maps. But what you want most is the logbooks. So here I have a logbook. It rolls like a map. This has vulnerability, monster physical damage reduction, double extra damage is cold, reduced crit, and endurance charge on hit. So this is a hard one. It's only area level 77 though. And then it has 2 different zones you can go to, Order of the Chalice and Druids of the Broken Circle. And that'll give you the Order or the Broken Circle artifacts, and have things associated with that. I believe they all have different different rewards associated with them as well, but I'm not entirely sure. I personally like the explosive radius and explosive placement range that's on the order one. Now, so I'm going to go for that. So you go to Danig, you go to show expedition map, you toss that in, and I'm going to go to the battleground graves. Sometimes you'll get a boss on that, so watch out for that too. It'll say if it contains a certain boss. I've only gotten one of them so far, but they seem to be potentially important. I got like one of the new uniques and like a ward item, which is pretty cool. I have some good ward items with very high rolls of ward. I don't know if that's useful yet. I'll explore that in the future. But once you get the actual setup here, you want to look at the reward types. So we got currency, we got a lot of different stuff here. We got some breach, we got some uniques, fossils, lots of fossils. Fossils are pretty nice. And then, so you can only go so far out. You can see like the circle kind of stops at a certain radius from the detonation device. So you want to look for something very powerful in the mod. So quantity of items found in excavated chests. This is actually much more powerful. I think people are sleeping on this. Starting with these early is really good. The remnants that are glowing orange usually have something a little bit more interesting. So excavated chests have a 20% chance to have an additional enchanted item. That's really good and synergizes with this. You want to build synergies. So like I would focus mostly on chests or monsters, but not both. And I think chests are better overall, especially quantity. And my reasoning for this is because these chests are basically like your blight chests. They're really good. Enchanted item drop. I want to at least look at these. Immune to physical. So I can't do this, even though it could give me Legion splinters, which is unfortunate. Pack size. So it looks like what I'll probably do, stack deck for runic monsters, which isn't bad, but I don't think I'll be focusing on the runic monsters. I think I'll be focusing on chests. You want to find something really good towards the beginning and kind of build a synergy and your route around that. In my experience, that's been the best way. Runic monsters, stack decks. And it's also good to look around just to see, like, maybe you have something good in the beginning, but you'll find out that here's immune to cold and runic monsters. Like, maybe I walk around and I'm like, oh, there's so many more that affect runic monsters. Maybe I want to go for that instead. I'm still seeing plenty of good ones for chests as well, though. Monsters grant experience. That can actually get pretty crazy if you stack a lot of them. I had like a level 60, I think it was like a level 69 map where now is level 89. That was giving me quite a lot of experience because I happened to roll like 5 of the 100% increased experience. Runic monsters, enchanted item. Okay. And then you want to quantity of, yeah, so there are maybe more monster ones as compared to chest ones. But because there's a chest one right at the beginning, I think I'll probably go for that. So then you want to build your route. So I'm going to start with trying to hit both of these because it'll give rarity as well. And there's nothing particularly out here. I guess I could also hit this chest. Maybe I should do that. You should pay attention to that kind of thing. And they're destructibles, so you see this rock grows green. Sometimes the destructibles have like this will have a secret cave underneath it, which will give good rewards. So I think this is a good placement because it'll give me quantity, a cave, and a chest. And then I want to find something else that's good out here. So here's another good chest one, and there's no chests nearby, but it leads right into another quantity. So now we've already got 80%, plus we have this other chest modifier, which gives additional enchanted items. And now we want to start picking up as many chests as possible. This picks up the excavated chest, has an additional enchanted modifier plus multiple chests. And I might be able to position it to hit all 3 here. Sometimes you have to, like, it doesn't look like it, but that's okay. I'll put this back a little bit because then we can get 2 chests here as well. And I'm going to, oh, the essence is good though. I'll miss the breach one, but I think it's worth it. And then maybe I'll still grab this. Let's see. Immune to cold, rarity of items. How far do we go here? Alright, so I think I'm actually still going to hit this chest and then move out this way. And I want to try to move towards these other chests. So I want to put it as far out as possible so I can get these. Immune to physical. So I absolutely cannot do that one. So I'm going to have to go around it. So I want to hit some of this stuff. Pack size isn't that important. I do want this fossil, and I can also get the breach here. And then I want to move out towards the unique, so I'm getting 2 chests there. And then I'll move out to this essence and quantity. I want to try to get multiple things as much as possible. That's immune to physical, but I want to hit this fossil chest as well. And then we'll see about over here. Artifacts by monsters. Artifacts by monsters isn't going to be that great right now, so we're going to put that there. We have a few more. Runic monsters. Try to get this breach one in. Gems. I don't really like gems that much. Can we make it all the way down here? We can, so we can get this armor and breach. Divination card one here as well. Pay attention to how many I have left. It's 4. So then I want, that's immune to physical, so can't do that. Stack decks, and now additional currency, and lastly, see if we can get 2 of these chests. We'll get the unique and body armor. Okay, so we have a nice little setup here that has a lot of synergies. This is going to be really hard, but I think you're going to see from the chests that we get, especially later. I'll explain a little bit how the chests work, but basically they add modifiers, both the modifiers that make the monsters most difficult or more difficult, as well as the modifiers that add rewards through the sequence. So it's basically like a chain. So the more of them, the later on in the chain, the more rewarding things get, and the harder it gets. That's why you want to focus on... Oop. And as you can see, I'm already taking a huge amount of damage. So, yeah, these monsters get really gnarly. Oh, I don't even have my... There. I was missing a lot of damage because I didn't have my things on. And I'm just going to go through and clear all of this, and then, after that, I will proceed to go and loot all the chests. But yeah, you want to set things up in sequence. So say I have... 40% increased quantity of chests, and then another 40%. So and I get like 2 chests in each. The first 2 chests will have 40% increased quantity, and then the second set of chests will have 80%, and every chest after that will have 80% as well. And I believe I am poisoned. Okay, we're good. All right, so I completed it. I almost died. I ran out of flash charges, as is. But yeah, let's go loot this now. We have a chittering chamber. These give nice little bits of rewards. We have a metamorph, map one, and then just like a generic one. So you just kill all the monsters in these, and they'll have like little chests here. Get a couple maps in that one. Get some artifacts, and then lastly, we get some catalysts and scarabs. So pretty nice. Pretty rewarding room. And you'll see, I'll go in sequence. You'll see the chests get gradually more rewarding as we go through. And that's because we'll have built the quantity and the rewards throughout. So as you can see, we're already getting some nice little stacks of currency. That's because we got 80% quantity right away in the beginning. So very powerful. We have a bunch of random currencies up here too. We're going to get some of these, like this is Blade Vortex Crit Multi per blade. That seems pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. We'll go stash that later on. Grab all these. Get some good stuff there. Some fossils. Fossils are always nice. Some resonators. Some incubators. Just throw one of them on, so I don't have to carry it around in my inventory. Got some uniques here. Pick up the ones that I don't have. And yeah, I'll have to head back. We got some cluster jewels, any good ones, and they're only at level 77, but we got armor, brand damage, and totem damage. not terrible. I'm gonna go stash stuff. I'll just throw it in like a random tab or whatever. Let's see. Open up one of my later tabs. Just toss everything in here, and I can go through it later. All right. Oop. Okay. Yeah, and you'll get we're gonna get to the really juicy stuff here. We'll just pick those up for now. And we can check this helmet. It's Wintertide brand, 40% damage. It's not a very good base. I think Wintertide brand will generally want to go on an ES base. So I'm just going to toss that. Don't want to carry it. Yeah, and you're seeing I'm starting to get over 100 of some of the lower ones just from all the quantity that I have. Lots and lots of splinters, another incubator. Just throw that on to save space. Yeah, 69, 82, and 29. So by the time you get to end, Essence of Horror, stack deck, lots and lots and lots of currency. And I have a stricter loot filter, so there's probably like more stuff that's being on the ground. And lastly, we get another unique chest with, nothing super great. But yeah, that was I would say, fairly profitable. I got a lot of stuff. The Essence of Horror is probably worth something, I would imagine. Possibly not, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how you want to go through. Sometimes you can get like 5 or 6 of the chest quantity ones by the end, and by the end you're getting like a whole screen full of loot just sitting there. So maybe I'll pick up these Regal shards. I could always use Regals. I hope you enjoyed. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming. Hope I missed a little secret chamber here, and I will see you next time. Bye!